Alright then. Let's get to playing DiabloRL. I've been waiting a long time to show off this one. Set the window capture here. There we go. Alright then, so DiabloRL by Cornell, the maker of Doom, Alien RLs, DiabloRL as you can see here, Berserk, and of course, recently, Jupiter Hell. Now, I'll note that DiabloRL is really interesting because it's basically based off Diablo. And in many ways, Diablo is a very contentious game because in the roguelike community, it's very hard basically to sort of distinguish why this game is basically not like a traditional roguelike. Well, this basically Sunday basically distinguishes why this is a traditional roguelike basically Diablo, as opposed to why the real game basically isn't a roguelike, so to speak. And I figured I just want to basically show off this game just for that purpose, to sort of show off how close it is basically Diablo is to a roguelike, so to speak. So let's start a new game here, and you can basically see each of these guys have their backgrounds and stuff like that. So you got the Brotherhood of the Vizjari. We get the Warrior, the powerful elite fighter seeking fortune and glory. And then of course we got the Sister of the Sightless Eye, who we'll be playing with today. So let's go with Davina, because why not? Alright, so I guess the first thing basically to point out here basically is the fact that when you're basically looking at this, it's basically an ASCII. Now I probably would say that's a very minor detail at this point, the graphics of Diablo as opposed to roguelike basically of today. But back in the day, that's actually a fairly major grievance I guess people basically had against Diablo not being a roguelike. Another thing to know as well is that this is basically turn-based, and that's basically I guess another feature worth knowing basically that that basically separates the original Diablo from roguelike games basically, so to speak. And then the third thing, we have save and quit, and that basically saves and quits the game. And we basically open it back up. I can load the game. And it goes back to basically where we were. Now, if I'm basically just to run into a dungeon here to sort of show us off, so let's go over here a little bit to the cathedral.
The smell of death surrounds me.
So we got a bunch of skeletons in it, so that's fine. We're just gonna let them kill us. And there's our death sound. Alright, so Davina has basically died. Let her rest in peace. She was killed by a skeleton. So there's a character dump. Apparently I was a sociopath. There's all our lovely stuff here. Alright, so we have died. If I open up the file again here, note that if I go down to that low game is basically read out. So a third thing that basically separates DiabloRL from roguelikes basically or Diablo basically is as from roguelikes and stuff like that. Diablo basically didn't have had a save and load function basically, and this game basically has a save and load or a save and quit function, so to speak. And much like a regular roguelike, when you die, you die. So this is a very interesting game because it's essentially Diablo, but with those 3 minor changes, it turns it into a traditional roguelike. And I always felt that was a very cute thing about this game here because it really goes to show that Diablo is not that far off from being a roguelike. And this is very much the case because of the fact that the creator basically he was basically trying to make a game like Rogue, which graphics and stuff like that. And basically during like his development, it's basically suggested to him that I basically change it to real time, and so he did. And that's basically, I think, the real like main draw as to like why like Diablo obviously isn't like a roguelike, but he also had like save and load and stuff like that, but that's like commercial, so whatever. Now, a note basically back in the day, he was the developer of this game. He was actually very much against like the idea of like turning this into like a real time like game for like quite a bit before like he finally decided one day basically to do so. And apparently when he basically did, it took him 6 hours basically to change the code from like a turn-based game into a real-time one, because it shows us how similar like the gameplay basically is between like Diablo is like a traditional roguelike as opposed to like what it basically like became. But anyhow, let's actually show off what this game is basically what DiabloRL is basically all about, and let's go from there. And I'll stop my rambling, so to speak. Alright, so we got ourselves basically show high scores and show manual. So let's jump into these right here. So basically this gives you like a breakdown of like what to basically do here. So you got like your choices of classes, basically you have like sort of like description of what to basically do. We have like a sort of like heads up display basically showing your character here. So basically it tells you basically like your health globes. You have like one blue health globe, you have one red. And I'll note by the way, as you basically saw like the road there, it basically is like an ASCII version of like what like Diablo basically looks like for the most part, with, like the red globe and the blue globe. So it just goes to show that like Quell did a whole lot basically to make this game very much like akin to like what really basically looks like, so to speak. You can gather information because like that's a thing as well. You have a C key, basically go to your character screen and stuff like that. You have items in inventory, because like there was an inventory screen basically back in the day, so that's basically there as well. Yeah, now you notice something that basically says here, depending on what item it is, it will affect you differently. So basically you have like arm values for your stuff here and stuff like that. We'll basically go into more like detailed basically about this, but needless to say basically here, this is basically Diablo for like those who basically played Diablo back in the day, so all of it is basically back here, so, that's really all it really is to basically say about it, but whatever. Alright, so we got basically default keybinds here. If I want to walk, I basically have to have numpads off and use the arrow keys. Or, like, I have to use, like, the like, cursor keys and stuff like that. Note that there's also a run function, by the way, as well, so that's kind of cool. There's also, like, attack block. I don't know why I basically want to use that, but, it's there as well. I guess for like, using your bow, I guess that's a thing, but whatever. Note that you also have a fast travel option in this game here, so that's kind of cool. So basically I hit tab, I can basically fast travel out, so which is like, a nice little feature basically had that like, the original Diablo didn't, but I guess there's like a couple of quality of life features that basically were added by Cornell, so I can't really like, blame him for that. So there's some stuff right there. Alright, so let's do a new game here. And let's just make a rogue again, I guess. So Divina 2, let's go. Alright, so let's go talk to some of the people around, I guess. We'll at least talk to Farnham.
And a fellow drinking peace?
And isn't it nice to basically hear like, Farnham drunk again? Let's gossip.
I like Pepper. He really tries, Listen here, you should make sure you get to know him. Good fellow like that with people always wanting help. Hey, I guess I'd be kind of like you, hero. I was a hero too.
So there's a little bit of details from like, the drunk. Now, I'll not basically if like you listen to all the gossip, this is basically all familiar to you for the most part. As well as like this guy here.
Hello, my friend. Stay a while and
I'll note that basically Kane's still here to identify items if you want him to.
Well, what can I do for you?
There's Griswold selling his items if you want him to. You also repair your items if you want.
What ails you, my friend?
There's Pepin. And of course,
Thank goodness you've returned. Much has changed since you lived here, my friend. All was peaceful until the Dark Riders came and destroyed our village. Many were cut down where they stood, and those who took up arms were slain or dragged away to become slaves. Or worse. The church at the edge of town has been desecrated and is being used for dark rituals. The screams that echo in the night are inhuman, but some of our townsfolk may yet survive. Follow the path that lies between my tavern and the blacksmith shop to find the church and save who you can. Perhaps I can tell you more if we speak again. Good luck.
Alright, so there of course is Ogden,
Greetings, good master. Welcome to the Tavern of the Rising Sun.
the tavern owner of the Rising Sun.
Good day.
There's
How may I
Jillian, the
serve
barmaid. If we follow along over here, we'll of course follow like, you know, a river crossing to like, you know, our old friend,
Psst, over here.
Wirt the Peg Leg Boy.
As long as you don't need anything reattached, old Pepin is as good as they come. If I'd have had some of those potions he brews, I might still have my leg.
Alright, so I'm sure basically mostly everyone's basically played Diablo before, but you know, it just goes to show like the detail basically like, you know, was basically put in to make this like all ASCII. And before I basically do anything else, let's just go up here. We'll talk to Adria.
I sense a soul in search of answers.
And there we go. Now, I'll note by the way if I press like tab here, I can basically like, you know, jump to any of these guys basically if I want to. So we can basically jump to say like, you know, Kane.
Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
And that's basically how like the fast travel basically works in this game. But anyhow, let's just like go and we'll like, you know, go up to like the entrance here.
The smell of death surrounds me.
Alright, so apparently I like, you know, hit like a shrine I think right there, but whatever. Now, I'll note basically these enemies basically did actually much like they did like in the original like, you know, Diablo. So, you hit the skeleton captain dies. And there we go, we just like, you know, smack him a little as well. Open sarcophagus, because why not? So there's a fallen one over there, a skeleton right here. Now, for those who basically remember, like, you know, the enemies basically in this game aren't as strong really, so we're just gonna like, you know, it's like completely kill them real fast. So there we go. We've just like, you know, knocked out all these guys right here. Oh, you can jump into the help file if you want at any given time. So something I'm wondering about is like, you know, control arrow keys basically fire and like do stuff like that if you want to. We'll press G basically to use like our like, you know, ability to get stuff. It's a potion mana line right here. We'll pick that up. Oops, I had an exploding barrel right there. That was stupid. Destroy that barrel. Yeah, for those basically who remember for like the original Diablo, it basically had exploding barrels that like, you know, blow up in your face if you're not careful. Alright, so it looks like there's actually a bug here, by the way. If you basically try and fire upon like an enemy that's basically like, you know, away from you with like the bow, it won't actually like properly attack these guys. So that's a thing to watch out for, but whatever. We can just press like fire, basically follow these guys, you know, fire like shots at these guys easily enough. Let's get this. Ooh, there's a book of holy balls here. So I'm not by the way these like, you know, stands here apparently like, you know, these are like, you know, bookcases right here, which are basically like empty to like, you know, find stuff. And if I go to my inventory here, for example, you know, like, you know, look at like the holy bolt here, for example, and we can basically learn it. By the way, while I'm basically like in here, note that like we basically have like a weight system as opposed to like this sort of like map system that was in the original like Diablo. Basically, in the original Diablo, you basically have like a sort of like grid bit where you can basically place stuff, and like you basically manage your weight basically on like what you can basically fit in like your grid, and there's like no like weight base to worry about. But because like this is like Coron basically like working his thing right here, he's basically changed to be like a weight system. So basically like the holy book basically weighs 4, the gold coins weigh 1. If I was basically take off that like short bow, it'd probably be like something away as well. So I guess we need something to equip before we can basically take it off or whatever. Let's just use the like holy bolts thing right here, by the way. So I can't use this yet apparently. So I basically need to have magic 20, which I don't have right now. So we have to get some like level up basically for that. Alright, let's just start firing at these guys a little bit. By the way, note these like capital S's and like the smaller S's, they all have like different like titles. So those are like the skeleton captains down there. This is a regular skeleton race kill right there. Another captain right there. I should probably note something as well, by the way. Note that you basically can see at the bottom like what we're basically attacking. So note that there's like basically a skeleton right there. It's got like I basically kill a total of 9 skeletons basically. For those who don't remember from like the original Diablo, as you basically kill off the enemies basically in the original Diablo, you basically like learn more about them, and eventually you could actually tell like how much HP they generally have. So as basically like, I kill these basic guys basically off, we'll actually learn like what their HP basically is and stuff like that. There's a chest bar open, so that's cool. There's a cape. Open the sarcophagus, gets the stuff right there. Now, no part if I want to basically wear a cape. So I wear the cape. So now I basically have a little bit more body armor if I want, which is nice. Alright, so note that right now, we're basically like next to some grates here. So basically in the original like Diablo, inside of like the cathedral, there's basically a lot of like sort of like gated rooms, and you can basically fire through these gates if you want to. So I basically fire through the gates, basically hit the fall if I want to, like that. Oh, here's a bloody corpse. There's some bones. Alright, these enemies over here are called, scavengers. They're basically a type of enemy that basically, eats, like, the fallen corpses of others to heal up if they want, so when they get injured, they'll basically, run to, like, eat up a corpse, I guess. Well, sometimes they might. I guess they won't right now, so that sucks, but well. It's kind of hard basically to sort of like show off the sort of personalities of these enemy AI, I guess. But I'll note that basically blah. The developer basically did a good job basically sort of like transcribing all the information of the enemies basically here over to like this game here. So I'll note that like the fallen basically run away, they basically see like an enemy basically killed in front of them. Zombies just sort of shamble around unless you get really close. Skeletons are like basically don't they'll basically sort of shuffle around basically slowly towards you. They're not like necessarily run away right after you like a crazy maniac, so to speak. If they get close to a skeleton, by the way, they will actually attack constantly, but they're a lot more cautious if I don't run right next to them basically. There's a zombie, by the way. Here's a couple fallen. Now, nobody basically kill this fallen right here. They're will basically scatter in the air and run away from me. So if I kill that, they'll basically run away. And if I kill a zombie, it runs away. So the AI is basically doing as it's basically supposed to. There's full mana. That's awesome. Fire! Fire! Ha ha ha! Yeah, I'll note that the bow is basically overpowered in Diablo, by the way, early on, so That's part of the reason I basically picked the bow. Just so I can like show off just how like, you know, the gameplay basically is very much like the original. It's also so I have a bow, right? So there's that. There's a cap. Rah! Yeah, just like the original, you can just like, you know, spam the bow and just kill everything like crazy. Don't bother if I look at these corpses here. Corpse. Zombies aren't like bloody corpses by the way when they die, so... These guys are all bloody corpses, but you know, zombies? Nope, they're just undead. Let's kill that. Let's kill that barrel. I've yet to see an enemy spawn from these like sarcophaguses, but you know, hopefully we'll see that soon. Blam, blam, blam. Alright, so I just picked up a bunch of items right here, so let's just go check them out. We have ourselves a cap, we got ourselves a dagger, we have a buckler. We of course picked up a lot of gold from all the enemy spaces we've killed, so that's nice as well. Let's put on a cap 1, I think, for now. And we'll put on like basically a dagger here, as well as like, you know, a buckler. And I'll show off like the melee stuff basically in this game here a little bit, the melee game. So I'll know if you're basically playing like a warrior, basically, you can like, you know, melee stuff just like that. Alright, so note this by the way as well. These skeletons basically you can see here, I've got like a total kills. And as we basically like kill them, we get actually like learning stuff about them, so... I don't know what that basically like, you know, means basically right there, but I guess it means they're like, you know... resistant to like something, I guess, or not resistant to anything. So let's kill a skeleton, be done with it. Nope, by the way, it's honestly a better idea to like, you know, fight these guys basically with the bow, but you know... It works. Well enough. That's a lovely little cape right there. Now, if I basically recall from like, you know, the original Diablo, you can't use like unidentified items until like you identify them, so that is a thing to like, you know, keep in mind, but whatever. Got a couple of skeleton captains here. Alright, so skeleton captain dies, you gain experience, you advance level 3. Alright, so I should probably actually check out how you level up in this game, so we can actually show that off. So let's just go down here a little bit. Alright, so, where's our level screen, I guess? Go to, like, you know, C, of course, to get into your character, I guess. And then character screen commands, press like S to like, get like your strength, Dex to get your D, M for magic, V for vitality. So, all the good stuff. So, let's go to C right here. And let's just boost up our magic to up to 20, I guess. So, we'll get to up to like, you know, 20 right there. Let's get our like, you know, dexterity up a little bit more. For like more like, you know, 2-hit values, but it's like, you know, damage as well, I think, eventually. So that's out of the way. We'll just kill that skeleton captain, be done with it. And there's basically a short staff of healing. So that's unidentified. I'll show you how to identify stuff basically shortly, but you know, we have to basically like, you know, go to Kane basically do that, and I want to basically like, you know, spoil at least the first level of the dungeon here. So I just learned my like, you know, Holy Bolt spell here. And let's just see what he's got controls for, like, you know, magic, basically, so... Alright, so quick spell is S, and spellbook is B. There's some rags. I can put those rags on if I didn't have a cape, I guess, but whatever. That's fine. Yeah, just like the original Diablo way, you can like, hoard your items like crazy, so why not? That makes me think. When was Torchlight basically made? I think Torchlight basically has a mechanism where like, you have like a mule, right? They basically can like sort of like bring around to your, like, help you out. Yeah, so note by the way, this game, like, Torchlight. Torchlight is basically like, made by the same developers as like Diablo. And it's basically made like, 4 years basically after like the 70-year-old, which basically like, came out in 2005. So it really goes to show like, there's a lot of like ways that like, the original Diablo experience can be improved by a lot. Fun. Now, I'm not bothered if I basically recall. In the original Diablo, there was basically like sort of like a stun mechanism where like if you hit like enemies, they'd be stunned. I don't believe that's basically present here, by the way, for this game here. So you have to watch out for that. So yeah, basically enemies will be able to hit you like whenever like they get a chance to. Of course, these guys are slow, so there's that going for me.
Now where would I put this?
All right, so note that basically as like your like inventory gets like larger and larger, it basically becomes harder to pick up stuff. So if I want to basically pick up the stuff in here, I can pick up that like full healing potion. But we're getting to that point where like I basically have like so much stuff basically in my inventory, we can't actually do anything with it. So it's that. I wonder how I basically use like the stuff in my tool or my belt basically, so to speak. So sorry for using a health file, but this one basically requires like a lot more like nuance than like the other games I've been playing so far. So we have cast, spellbook, quick spells, matches, quick spell. All right, so quick slots. The quick slots basically are like F5 to F8 or 1 to 8, I guess. So if I want to basically use like an identify scroll here. Whoops, that's a scroll of healing. That's something to note basically about like the sort of like quick slots down there. It's a cool idea having quick slots, but at the same time, like that's not really like you can basically hover over them with the mouse basically in like the original game to basically tell like what it basically had. So it wasn't so bad basically like using like quick slots in the original Diablo because you basically like tell what it basically were, everything it basically was. Like I can put like something like a healing basically behind your belt basically if I want to, but how do I basically take that stuff out of my slot is the thing, right? Oh, by the way, press like tab and basically like move this stuff over here if I want to, so that's cool. So I can put on like an air cap if I want to. Alright, so that's interesting. But yeah, although like there's like some things that weren't like necessarily done like better. Like I can't really go into my like my belt basically to do stuff with, right? So oh, the quick slot menu is Q. There we go. So press Q basically, and it like brings up what I basically have here. So let's use identify basically and stuff in here. And I basically identify as cape, or I can identify like the short staff of healing here. No problem, this is basically in red because it requires like 17 matches to basically use. And so I have to identify as well, but basically some items in this game will actually probably have like certain matches to basically use them, as well as like identify them. So let's identify that right there. So we got ourselves a cape of light, by the way. Basically, this gives me like increased like light, so we can see around ourselves a little bit easier. So I put that basically on, I'll be able to see a little bit farther.
I have no room.
And I have no room for this basically, but whatever, it's fine. We can basically just quick slot this. So just put that in our belt. I put the cape one in my belt. You know, it makes me wonder if like there's like an auto explorer in this game. Like, you know, he might have like put that basically there if he wanted, you know, to do so. So why not? Cornell did, maybe. I don't see an auto explorer, so maybe it didn't. But you know, you get the idea basically. All right, nothing in here. On the bar, it's very important to basically explore every room in like Diablo because you basically want all the experience you can for finding the eventual like you know enemy that basically like you know pops up in level 2, the boss. Oh, I note that I basically blocked the bow there. I do have a buckler, right? So it's possible I can basically block blows. These guys are walking in lockstep, unfortunately. Alright, so there we go. Got ourselves in our buckler. Alright, so that's basically enough for now. Basically showing off from Lee. So let's just go back to Tristram at this point. So we'll go like stairs to Tristram. And let's just go over to Griswold, basically sell our stuff.
Whoa, what can I do for you?
I'll sell the items I basically don't need, like the you know cape here, this. Note that we basically make a little bit of money basically doing that, so that's nice. You can put on a short bow if I need. So I need free hands for that basically. So let's go up here. We'll knock off basically a dagger. Whoops, not that. The buckler. We'll put that basically on. And let's just put back on the cape.
Whoa, what can I do for you?
I'll sell off the dagger and the buckler. Now, no problem if you want to. You can basically go to Griswold, basically repair this stuff, but you know, early on it's not really necessary, so I'm not really going to worry about that really. You can also buy stuff from this guy as well if you need to, but you know, early on as well is not really that needed, so we'll hold off on that.
Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
We'll get Canvas to help us identify like our staff of healing here, so basically let's gets like ready to go. So basically, it's got 3 free charges on my staff of healing, or I can use to basically fight with if I want.
What ails you, my friend?
Let's get our healing from Pepin. Oh yes, you can buy your stuff from here if you want to. Now I will note by the way as well that probably the best source of spending your money by the way in this game is from Adria early on, I think. Because every so often we can find scrolls of temporal or other stuff like this basically in here, which is really useful. Or a scroll of identify, that's nice as well. Basically you can go to Kane basically identify your stuff for 100 gold, but if you buy an identify scroll as well, then you can basically identify in the dungeon. And I didn't realize it by the way, but I forgot to actually put this back like this, so let's just do that right now. And we're just gonna, make sure I have the game selected here. Leave the shack. Alright, well. Let's just keep going on here for a little bit. So we'll go back into the dungeon here. Stairs to the church. And if I want to basically go down to church level 2, but we'll hold off on that for a moment. Let's just go pick up our stuff. Explore a little bit more. Fire! Fire! Open that chest, there's nothing in it. Ow. There's a potion of healing. Pick up that gold. Fire! Fire! Yes, literally that's what you can do with the bow. Oops. I didn't realize if I walked next to scavengers there. Those V's look like the corpses, right, by the way, so it's kind of hard to, like, distinguish them from, like, the other stuff. But that's a minor greens, because they only show up so long, those, like, scavengers, so that's fine. I just realized it, but I'm firing to a wall. Let's just get out of the direction of the wall, I guess. By the way, you can see like their HP now, so I've killed enough skeletons so you can basically see that they got like 1 to 2 HP. Just kill those guys right there. There we go. Now, no, by the way, like, these guys are dying very easily, but, that's sort of like to be expected with this game. This game was less about, like, you fight like a single monster, but more about fighting like hordes of them. And you basically like sort of like work around like their like little intrusive details and stuff like that. And that's something I really enjoy basically about Diablo. Whatever. Those who defend seldom attack. So that's in our shrine, by the way. I don't remember what they basically all do, but some of these like shrines basically are like beneficial. Some like give you like boons and stuff like that. Some just like give you like potions and stuff like that. Alright, we're almost basically done exploring this first level, I think, so let's just go over here. And gosh, these levels are big. I just realized this, but I leveled up, so we can actually get more, like, stats here. But I know that I can actually open up the character window and walk around while I basically, like, have the character window up if I want to. That's the thing you basically can do in the original game. Let's get ourselves a little bit of strength at this point, because strength is actually pretty important in the archers. Actually, all the stats basically are important in this game, because they're all useful for, like, one thing or another. Dexterity is basically good for, like, wielding bows and basically, like, getting, like, hit chance, basically. Strength is useful for, like, wearing armor and, like, wielding stuff. And, like, doing damage, of course. Magic, of course, is basically useful for spell casting and, like, doing damage to spells. Vitality is good for HP. So there's a Book of Healing. So, Book of Healing. And I haven't actually shown off, like, the spell casting in this game yet, so let's go in here to Health File. So, my spellbook key is basically B. So I'm going to basically, like, cast, like, healing on myself. So basically heal, like, 6 to 32. So you read the Book of Healing. Oh, actually I have to cast a spell with, like, another key, I guess. So to cast, like, this spell, I have to press S or Z. So there we go. I healed myself a little bit there. Not that I'm not, like, entirely full on LHP, but it's good enough for now, so that's fine. Let's go up here a little bit. Very reminiscent of Diablo, this, like, first level, because the enemies really aren't all that special. So it wasn't really that much of a big change for this level. Basically, like, the real time versus, like, turn-based. Because you don't have to basically think for this level. You can just, like, brain fart, so to speak, through it. And obviously take you where you need to go. Let's get this. And there's a Book of Firebolt right there, so if you want to get, like, learn Firebolt. So there we go, we read the Book of Firebolt. That's something I basically missed about the original Diablo. Basically, like the original Diablo, you can obviously, like, learn spells basically on any character. So you can basically have, like, a warrior, like a dumbass warrior, like, learning spells. In Diablo 2, they basically sort of, like, changed a lot of the formula, so, like, basically everyone was basically class-based. But there's a lot basically, like, to appreciate in the original Diablo for sure. They're all dead. There's a book of healing right there. There's a book of firebolt. There's some money in there. I'll explode that barrel on me apparently. Yo, I love this, like, the sort of sound effects for this game as well, by the way, because, like, you know, you're basically like a warrior, or like, you know, adventure, basically, like, you know, going to like this scary like dungeon. I mean, you kill everything easily enough, but you know, everything in here is like, you know, out to get you, so to speak. There's a dagger. There's a mana. Nothing in that chest. I think, like, you know, Pearl may have gone a little bit overboard making these, like, dungeons a little bit too big. Because I don't remember the original, like, you know, Diablo having this big of a dungeon to explore. I mean, they had, like, you know, fairly sizable dungeons in Diablo, but, you know, there's, like, basic graphics to, like, worry about, so they couldn't, like, you know, go, like, you know, insane. Because it would kill people's hard drives and stuff like that. Or maybe it's like, you know, misremembering just how big, like, the original, like, Diablo maps basically were. It could be that they're actually this big, who knows. The gold, 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 gold. Alright, well. That feels like I just, like, got a lot of loot and stuff like that, but whatever. Alright, now, before I basically do anything else, note that basically when I try and, like, you know, use these, like, Book of Healing and stuff like that, and, like, you know, the Firebolt, they'll be, like, actually cost me a little bit more, like, you know, magic basically to cast these ones. Basically, like, you know, as you go along, these, like, books get harder to basically, like, you know, learn, because, just to sort of throw it out there. Let's just go to, like, you know, the help screen here. And let's just see. I want to go to my spellbook, I guess it is, to, like, you know, show this off. Note that basically, like, your spells, they have, like, different levels, and right now, I basically read, like, a book of, like, each to basically get up to level 1. But as basically, like, you know, we, like, you know, read these books basically here, it basically, like, you know, increases the level of these, and actually increases, like, the cost to cast the spell, how much you basically get healed by it as well. So, for example, Firebolt basically is, like, level, like, 1 right now. Does 413 damage, costs 4 mana basically to use. Now basically it's, like, you know, level 2. It does a little bit more damage, and it costs, like, 1, like, you know, or it still costs, like, you know, 4 to use, but, you know. Basically, like, you know, some of these spells, there's, like, you increase, or like, you know, their level, they're basically increasing cost, and, like, doing, like, you know, more damage and stuff like that. So, worth knowing about if you basically, like, waste a scroll of identify, you can't, like, you know, unwaste it, so to speak, so you have to watch out for that. But whatever.
Greetings, good master. Welcome to the Tavern of the Rising Sun.
Well, what can I do for you?
Let's go to Griswold here, basically sell off this stuff.
What ails you, my friend?
Note by the way as well, if you have, like, an excess of, like, potions, you have to go to a druid to sell them, so.
I sense a soul in search of answers.
This is one of those games, by the way, where you basically have to, like, you know, go into it and, like, basically, like, you know, go to, like, the specific seller, basically sell off stuff you want to. So, for example, I can sell off the Staff of Healing to, like, you know, Adria here if I want to, but, you know. I couldn't, like, sell her, basically, like, you know, the dagger or, like, you know, other stuff, basically, because it was, like, weapons that go to, like, blacksmith. Alright, we're on level 2 now. Now we got some fiends basically to fight. For those who basically don't remember, like, you know, the original Diablo, fiends were basically those bat creatures that basically fly around. Ow. But I should probably, like, you know, make a note that, like, you know, enemies can't open doors in this game. Unless they're, like, smart. And none of, like, the creatures basically in, like, the original, like, you know, cathedral dungeon were usually smart enough to open doors. It wasn't until, like, you get to the catacombs that sort of happened. Now, this is kind of crappy, but apparently, like, you know, Coral here made it, like, the ghouls basically the same color as, like, you know, blue. So it's basically hard to see in, like, the thing here. Now, I think we saw, like, a tougher, like, you know, fallen type of creature there to basically deal with, but, you know. There's, like, a unique creature. Okay, so you got Blaze Skin and Slasher. Note that the units are, you know, fairly strong, so they actually take a lot of, you know, shots to get killed. Try to hit me there, but failed. There we go, we killed him. We got some experience for that. He dropped a nice bow there that I can identify, so let's do that. So, this guy basically dropped a short bow of quality. So it does, like, +2 damage basically on it, so that's nice. Note by, like, you know, your stuff has durability, and basically as you, like, use, like, weapons that go down durability, as you take hits, like, your, like, you know, your armor basically takes, like, you know, durability hits and stuff like that. So that's, like, you know, stuff that you basically consider. All the good stuff of basically, like, you know, Diablo is back here to enjoy. You always realize something. B is for bat, because fiends are bats. You know, it makes me wonder, by the way, if this game basically has the same sort of, like, level scale of enemies basically in the original Diablo did. Basically in the original Diablo, by the way, if you basically, like, you know, played the game and, like, you know, leveled up, like, you know, like, in a level, and, like, jumped down, like, to next level, it basically scale up the enemies basically to, like, be, like, maxing your level as opposed to, like, you know, maxing, like, the, like, level of, like, the dungeon you're basically in. So, on the basis of, like, if I'm, like, a level 20 character and, like, going, like, to level 2 basically in this dungeon, it would basically scale up, like, the enemies of, like, Cathedral level 2 by a lot, as opposed to, say, like, being, like, a, like, you know, level, like, 5 or 6 basically I am right now. Just to throw it out there. There's basically, like, like, you know, max like, the monsters basically, like, the enemies, like, skill level as opposed to, like, anything else. Type of thing that happens. There's a scroll of Town Portal, or Quilted Armor rather. So I got myself Quilted Armor if I want to, but you know, I have to basically identify it first. Alright, that's fun. Let's kill these guys off here. It's probably worth knowing, by the way, that, like, you know, the mechanics for shooting bows and stuff like that in the original Diablo, they sort of, like, lent themselves basically to, like, you know, really encourage you to sort of, like, be in like, cardinal directions of enemies. But, because, like, we're playing like, a turn-based game here, we're basically firing off a bow. It's basically instantaneous fire, so you have to worry about, like, your arrow basically flying through the air. Basically, the original Diablo, it didn't have, like, arrows basically, like, you know, go, like, instantaneously against your target. They actually had to, like, you know, fly to, like, the enemy basically first. So, it's possible for, like, an enemy base to, like, move, like, basically out of the way of, like, a you know, a projectile that, like, you know, if they, like, you know, weren't basically, like, you know, in a cardinal direction. So, something basically keep in mind. Alright, well, I'm actually more of this is, like, a good place to basically stop for this episode. I'll know we're going to be, like, you know, playing this game for a while, so it'll basically like be a while I think before I actually die or even meet the butcher for that matter. By the way, that's the boss we're going to be like finding soon enough. But whatever. Let's save and quit, I guess. And because like Cornish basically had like not Cornish, but Kernel basically had a proper like save and load feature for like Diablo here. It's very easy to basically load per characters as opposed to like say like TraumRL or like Flatline RL. So there's that. All right, so hope you guys basically enjoyed that like look at DiabloRL and enjoyed like all like the lovely like similarities between like the original Diablo and like DiabloRL right here. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one.